The UN chemical watchdog says it will look at Russia's evidence of Syrian rebels using banned substances in Aleppo. Russia's foreign minister earlier said Moscow was ready to deliver the samples to the OPCW. We've been reporting on the use of chemical weapons in western Aleppo for nearly a month now, but it's gone largely ignored in the mainstream media, which is mostly focused on the east of the city. With more details, here's Lizzie Phelan.
Has been a response from the organization. They replied to RT saying they've received this offer by the Russian authorities to provide samples related to these allegations of chemical attacks in Aleppo. And because of the security situation in Aleppo, they are unable to go there themselves. They will be willing to receive the samples collected by the Russian Ministry of Defense in either Damascus or The Hague. Well, CNN have been running a video of a young boy with a headline claiming that he's a victim of a chemical attack on the rebel-held eastern parts of Aleppo. Now, this video was filmed by a France-based organization called the Syria Charity, and it shows the boy in a hospital crying and describing a yellow smoke that he says he saw during this attack. Now, CNN adds as a footnote that it doesn't have any means to independently verify this video or the details of the attack because its access, like most media organizations, to East Aleppo is heavily restricted. Now, on the other hand, RT has had its own crew on the ground in the other part of the city for the last month in the western government-controlled parts of Aleppo. And our crew came across numerous victims of rebel attacks who said that they had suffered symptoms of having inhaled chemical substances. Now, our crew also met doctors who said that they'd treated many patients for suffering from such symptoms as well. And the Russian Ministry of Defense also recently made a statement saying that these samples that they have collected, which they previously mentioned, they've now analyzed them, and the analysis confirms that rebels have been using both white phosphorus and chlorine gas, obviously both highly toxic chemical substances, that they've been using those substances in their frequent attacks on civilian areas in West Aleppo.
During its latest briefing, the State Department claimed it's still investigating cases of ISIS using chemical weapons, but so far said no solid evidence has come to light. However, when speaking about the alleged attacks on hospitals by Russia and Syria, it stressed that all information comes from credible sources. Earlier, we spoke to our correspondent, Gayana Chichkan, in Washington.
The State Department's John Kirby says he does not know if it was Russia or Syria that hit the 5 hospitals that the State Department had earlier accused Russia and the Syrian government of hitting in Syria. Kirby attributed the information to various sources.
It is not the United States making these claims. It is reputable aid agencies. And you can go look for yourself on the website of the World... Hang on a second. Let me finish now. I'll let you. World Health Organization or Doctors Without Borders, the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights. You can turn on CNN today and look at some pretty gripping footage of what's going on in Aleppo. You can read reports out of the Associated Press.
Also at the briefing, John Kirby said some of what he said on the subject of the hospitals came from U.S. intelligence sources, which he said he would not speak to from the podium, leaving open the question why wasn't the intelligence community able to say who exactly hit what hospitals. The State Department has primarily cited the World Health Organization, which did say 5 hospitals had been attacked in the Aleppo and Idlib provinces, but the group also said it's not their job to determine who did it or the cause of the damage that the hospital sustained. John Kirby said it could be either Russia or Syria because coalition planes were not flying in those regions at the time. Russia has denied allegations that it had hit the hospitals mentioned in the World Health Organization report. John Kirby today said even if it wasn't Russia, Russia is still responsible because of its association with Assad.
Earlier, we discussed the matter with strategic analyst Gregory Copley, who questioned the State Department's sources.
I mean, when you saw the State Department spokesman John Kirby today saying, well, you can see it on CNN. Well, you know, CNN is following the State Department lead and is actually actively working to shape an outcome which is not the one being determined by the Syrian people, whether they're for or against the Syrian government, and it's certainly not one that is in favor of the Syrian government or the Russian government, for that matter. So Kirby's claims about this become very questionable because they're politically motivated. So we're seeing the growth of unsubstantiated claims by the State Department in particular, and the attempts to bring the US into a direct confrontation and to continue its claim that Syria is the Syrian government is the cause of all of the problems.